It was supposed to be another light-hearted morning on daytime television, a cozy couch, a smiling host, a Hollywood star promoting his latest project. But within minutes, that illusion would shatter, and what followed stunned everyone. In front of a live studio audience and millions more watching from home, Idris Elba, the celebrated actor known for his poise and charisma, stood up mid and walked off the set of the Clarkson show. No explanation, no warning, just a storm of emotion in his eyes, and a silence in the room so thick it felt like time had stopped. Clarkson, blindsided, sat frozen in her chair. The audience didn't know whether to laugh, gasp, or clap. The cameras kept rolling, producers scrambled, and backstage, chaos. Was this a personal breakdown, a professional statement, or something far more complex boiling beneath the surface? The next few minutes will take you deep inside the moment daytime television cracked. We'll reveal what really happened off camera and why this may not have been a meltdown, but a long time coming. Because when a global icon like Idris Elba walks away live, raw and unrehearsed, it's never just one thing. It's everything. To understand the storm that erupted on that stage, we need to start with the man at the center of it all. Idris Elba, actor, producer, DJ, cultural icon. A man who, for over 2 decades, has commanded both the screen and the respect of his industry. From gritty British dramas to global blockbusters like Luther, The Wire, and Thor, Idris isn't just known for his talent, he's known for his restraint, his composure, his control, the kind of man who chooses his words carefully, and rarely lets the mask slip. But over the past year, that control has been tested. Behind the red carpets and magazine covers, there have been quiet whispers of exhaustion, of burnout, of pressure mounting behind the scenes, projects falling through, deals getting complicated, a public who still demands charm and excellence, even as the private man behind it all begins to fray. Then there's Clarkson, a powerhouse vocalist turned talk show darling. Kelly has spent years building her brand on warmth, humor, a disarming mix of celebrity and approachability. The Clarkson show has become daytime comfort food, big smiles, sing-alongs, and celebrity heart-to-hearts. It's not the place for controversy. It's certainly not the place for confrontation, and yet, here we are. This wasn't Idris' first time on Kelly's show. In fact, their previous interactions were friendly, even flirtatious. Clips of them joking, laughing, exchanging playful barbs had gone viral in the past. Fans loved the chemistry. So when news broke that Idris would return for a new interview promoting his latest psychological thriller, expectations were high. People were tuning in for banter, for charm, for an Alistair in his element. But there were signs. Subtle, small, but undeniable. Just days before the taping, Idris had been photographed leaving a high-profile London meeting looking visibly shaken. A leaked report from an anonymous source claimed he was under immense pressure to sign on for a controversial new project, one that went against his personal ethics. On social media, his posts had grown cryptic, short captions, black and white images. A recent tweet that simply read, "Not everything deserves a smile." It was brushed off at the time. No, fans are reading it differently. And then there were the rumors that Kelly's producers had prepped a segment that might dig deeper than Idris expected, that she wanted to ask him about more than movies, about politics, personal life, mental health. The kind of questions that daytime TV usually avoids. The kind of questions that, for a man under pressure, can feel less like curiosity and more like provocation. None of this was confirmed. Of course, the official promos for the episode remained bright and breezy. Idris Elba returns, they declared. Don't miss the fun. But those in the know, they were watching closely, and when Idris walked onto that stage, the smile didn't quite reach his eyes. This wasn't just another interview. This was a breaking point in plain sight. The episode began like any other, upbeat music, applause, Kelly's signature grin lighting up the screen as she welcomed viewers to another amazing morning. The audience was lively, caffeinated, buzzing with anticipation, and when she announced Idris Elba as her next guest, the cheers were deafening. He walked out to a standing ovation, tailored suit, subtle swagger, that magnetic presence that always seemed to follow him. But if you looked closely, if you really watched his face, there was something different this time. Not fear, not anger, just weight, a heaviness behind the eyes, like he was carrying something unspoken. Kelly stood, arms wide. "It's so good to see you again," she said. Idris smiled, but only for a second. They hugged briefly, the audience clapped again, and then they sat down. The cameras zoomed in, the lights warmed, the script began. At first, everything seemed fine. Kelly opened with the usual softball questions. "Tell us about your new film," she said. "It looks so intense." Idris gave a practiced response. Described the character, dropped a few funny behind-the-scenes moments. The crowd laughed on cue, but about 7 minutes in, something shifted. Kelly leaned forward. "Now, I read somewhere," she said, "that this role took a real emotional toll on you. Is that true?" Idris paused. It was the first unscripted moment. His eyes narrowed, just slightly. "Yeah," he said. "It wasn't an easy one." Kelly smiled. "Was it the character or something going on in your own life that made it harder?" The question hung in the air. The audience stayed quiet, unsure if they were still in the safe zone. Idris looked down, adjusted his watch, then looked back up, but not at Kelly, at the crowd, almost like he was searching for something, or someone. "I don't really talk about that kind of stuff here," he said. Measured. Kelly tried to pivot. "Totally fair. I just think it's powerful when someone like you opens up, especially for young men watching." He cut her off. "I didn't come here to be a message," he said. The words weren't loud, but they hit like thunder. "I came here to talk about my work. That's all." For a few seconds, there was silence. Kelly blinked. A quick, nervous laugh followed. "Of course, I didn't mean to. I respect that totally." She tried to recover, shifted back to film talk, but the air had changed. The easy rhythm was gone. Idris's answers grew shorter. The charm faded. And beneath his calm voice, there was tension visible in the way his jaw tightened with each follow-up. Then came the segment producers clearly thought would be fun. A series called Rapid Fire Real Talk, where celebrity guests are hit with surprise questions. Usually harmless, sometimes bold, often embarrassing. Fans love it. Celebrities tolerate it. But today, it would be the match to dry tinder. Kelly flipped a card. "Read the first question. If you could change one mistake from your past, what would it be?" The audience whooped. The band played a cheeky sting. Cameras caught Kelly's amused smirk, but Idris didn't smile. His face darkened. Slowly. "Who wrote that?" he asked. Kelly chuckled. "It's just a game. You don't have to answer." But the damage was already done. "This isn't why I came here," Idris said, his voice lower now. "You wanted a headline. I came for a conversation." From the side of the set, a stage manager gestured. The band grew quiet. The audience stopped clapping. Even Kelly's expression froze, like she knew something had cracked. "Idris, I didn't mean to," she began. But he stood up, pushed the chair back gently, adjusted his jacket. "I'm not doing this," he said. "Not like this." Kelly called out, "Wait, please," but he was already walking, across the stage, past the cameras, through the curtain. Gone. The room was paralyzed. Was this real? Was this a bit, some elaborate promo for his film? But as the silence stretched, and the producers rushed to cut to commercial, it became clear, this wasn't entertainment. This was something raw, something real, and something that no one, not even Kelly, saw coming. The moment Idris Elba disappeared behind the curtain, the studio was caught in suspended animation. No music, no jokes, no planned segue for a show built on smooth transitions and scripted charm. This was chaos, raw, unrehearsed, and live. Kelly sat still in her chair, blinking into the sudden quiet. Her smile faltered, lips parted, as if waiting for someone, anyone, to signal what to do next. But no one moved. No one knew. For the first time in the show's history, the audience wasn't clapping. They were watching something unravel. Someone off camera whispered, "Do we cut?" The feed froze for just over a second, a hard second, and then an abrupt jingle, a forced pivot. The screen faded to an emergency commercial break, but the damage had already been done. Behind the scenes, producers scrambled, phones lit up, assistants ran, security was dispatched to find Idris, who had reportedly walked straight past the dressing rooms and out of the back entrance. No entourage, no publicist, just silence. Back in the control room, the director's voice cracked through the comms. "We need a plan now." By the time the show returned from break, Kelly had pulled herself together. She offered a statement, short, vague, wrapped in politeness. "Well, we're gonna keep the good vibes going," she said, with a tight smile. "Sometimes, conversations take a turn. We love Idris, and we wish him the absolute best. No explanation, no acknowledgement. Just a pivot into the next guest, whose awkward small talk felt like whiplash. But the internet doesn't wait. Within minutes, clips were already circulating. A fan in the audience had recorded the entire moment on their phone. Shaky, low resolution, but unmistakable. The tension, the tone, the walk, dash-off. The video hit Twitter, then TikTok, then Instagram. It spread like wildfire. Hashtags ignited. Idris walks out. Keller clash. ELBA exit. Millions of views in hours. Comment sections exploded. Some blamed Kelly, accusing her of baiting a vulnerable guest. Others defended her, calling Idris unprofessional, even fragile. And then there were those who said what many were thinking, that this wasn't about one question, that this was about something deeper, something broken, something boiling over. After months, maybe years of pressure. By nightfall, the clip had been dissected frame by frame. Analysts zoomed in on Idris's face, noting the moment his jaw clenched. Body language experts weighed in. Was it anxiety? Was it anger? Was it trauma? Theories swirled, but one thing was clear. This wasn't staged. A second angle surfaced, taken from the side of the stage. It showed Kelly turning to her producers during the break, visibly shaken. Her voice could be faintly heard. "I didn't think he'd react like that. I didn't know." And then quietly, "Is he okay?" But Idris was gone. No statement, no apology, not even a cryptic tweet. Just silence. And in that silence, speculation became its own story. People began asking, why did Idris snap? What line was crossed? And had we, as viewers, as fans, as a media machine, pushed him too far? It wasn't just a walk-off. It was a rupture. A moment where the polished veneer of celebrity cracked, and the man beneath it all said, enough. No PR spin, no Hollywood smile. Just one man choosing to walk away. The next morning, headlines exploded. Idris Elba storms off live TV. Clarkson show chaos. A-list meltdown caught on camera. But behind the clickbait was confusion. Because no one, not even insiders, seemed to have the full story. The Kelly Clarkson show released a brief, carefully worded statement. Just after midnight, we respect Idris Elba's decision and support his privacy. He remains a valued guest and a friend to the show. No apology, no blame, just a statement of neutrality, the kind that says everything. By saying almost nothing. Meanwhile, Kelly herself stayed quiet. No tweets, no interviews. Just a single Instagram story the following day. A close-up of a steaming cup of tea and the words, "Still love you, Idris. Always will." Some saw it as grace, others called it deflection. Either way, it only deepened the mystery. As for Idris, his team remained completely silent for 36 hours. No comments, no corrections, no denials. Then finally, a single post appeared on his official account. Black background, white text. "Protect your peace. At any cost." It was all he said. The post went viral instantly. Celebrities reposted it. Fans turned it into a mantra, but others questioned the implications. What peace had been threatened? What did the show or Kelly do that crossed a line? The speculation grew darker. Rumors surfaced that Idris had explicitly asked producers not to discuss his personal life, and that the Real Talk card segment had violated that agreement. Some claimed it was an innocent oversight. Others suggested it was intentional, a ratings grab. Either way, the damage was done. Networks scrambled to get in front of the story. Executives behind Kelly's show reportedly held emergency meetings, while the public image stayed calm. Sources inside described a frantic rush to clean it up before it spreads. But it was already too late. Late-night hosts joked about it. TikTok creators reenacted the scene. Podcasts launched entire episodes breaking it down. And Idris, who had always managed to sidestep celebrity scandals, was now at the center of one. And the reaction wasn't black and white. Some people praised him, said he had every right to walk away, to reject a narrative he didn't want, to be part of. Others criticized him, called him sensitive, accused him of overreacting, or being ungrateful for the platform. But underneath the noise was something real. A deeper conversation was emerging, not about gossip, but about boundaries, about mental health, about what happens when celebrities are expected to be vulnerable on command, to entertain, to open up, to smile, no matter what they're carrying. For once, it wasn't just scandal, it was something human. And as the headlines slowly began to fade, and the algorithms moved on, one question remained. Was this the moment daytime TV changed? Or was it just the moment one man finally said, no more? To the casual viewer, it was a dramatic blip, a tense exchange, a walk-off and a flurry of headlines. But for those who watch more closely, the moment felt like something deeper. Something had snapped. And the question echoing across newsrooms, fan forums, and industry backchannels wasn't what happened, it was why. Some believe it was personal, that Idris Elba, despite his calm public demeanor, has been privately battling something invisible. Fatigue, pressure, emotional overload. He's been working non-stop, film sets, press tours, endorsement deals. On the outside, polished. Inside, maybe breaking. Industry insiders whispered about the weight of roles he's taken, emotionally intense, psychologically demanding characters that require more than performance, characters that leave residue. And for someone like Idris, who rarely talks about his own demons, there may have been nowhere to unload that weight. Others think it was calculated, that the walk-off wasn't a breakdown but a statement. A protest, a rejection of a media machine that packages pain as content, because what happened on Kelly's show wasn't just awkward, it was familiar. A smiling host easing into personal territory, wrapping intrusive questions in vulnerability and inspiration. It's the modern trap of daytime disguised pressure as care. Turn trauma into ratings, and Idris saw it coming. He recognized the setup, the segment, the cards, the let's go deeper moment, and instead of smiling through it, he walked away from it. That choice, in an industry obsessed with likability, was revolutionary. Then there's the bigger picture, the racial undertone. Because when a white celebrity sets boundaries on television, they're often seen as strong, assertive, in control. But when a black man, especially one as visible and iconic as Idris, does the same, the narrative shifts. Suddenly, it's a meltdown, a crisis, a walkout. The double standard isn't new, but this moment threw it under a spotlight, and it ignited something. Black creators began sharing stories of similar moments, being pushed to open up, punished for saying no, expected to perform authenticity while hiding real pain. Fans created threads connecting Idris's reaction to a history of microaggressions in media interviews, subtle digs, tone policing, emotional traps disguised as curiosity. One viral tweet summed it up. Maybe Idris didn't snap. Maybe he just got tired of being polite. But even outside race, the moment revealed the thin lines celebrities walk between being human and being product. When does transparency become exploitation? When does honesty become a marketing strategy? And how much of someone's inner world is owed to the public? This incident wasn't the first of its kind. Viewers remember Tom Cruise's infamous couch moment, Kanye's sudden rants, Megan Fox's emotional interviews turned punchlines. Each time, the narrative was clear, emotional, honesty is welcome, until it makes us uncomfortable. And that discomfort, it sells. But maybe this time, something's different. Because Idris didn't explode, he didn't yell, he didn't break down in front of the camera. He just got up, calm, quiet, controlled. Refusal, not a scene. And that silence, it was louder than any outburst. And that silence, it was louder than any outburst. Some media analysts now call it the Elba line, the invisible boundary between entertainment and intrusion. A reminder that even celebrities, especially those expected to hold the weight of representation, masculinity, and public expectation, deserve the right to say, this is too far. So what does it all mean? Is this a turning point for celebrity media, or just another moment we'll forget once the next headline drops? Maybe that depends not on Idris, but on us, how we watch, how we listen, and how we treat the ones we claim to admire when they finally decide to stop performing. Weeks have passed since the moment Idris Elba walked off that stage, and still, the ripples haven't settled. The clip remains one of the most shared daytime moments of the year. Think pieces continue to surface. Media outlets still dissect every angle, but from Idris himself, silence, stillness, a decision not to engage, not to explain, and maybe that is the explanation. He's been seen just once since photographed leaving a quiet cafe in Notting Hill. No entourage, no statement, just a slight nod to the camera before disappearing into a black car. The image spoke volumes. He's not hiding, he's just done talking. And Kelly, she's back on air. The show goes on, but there's been a shift. In a recent episode, she paused during a segment and said, almost offhandedly, sometimes you think you're helping someone open up, but really you're just poking at a bruise. I'm still learning. She didn't mention Idris, she didn't need to. The fans have drawn their own lines. Some are calling for Kelly to invite him back, not for ratings, but for redemption. Others say, leave it, let the moment stand, let it be what it was. A boundary drawn in real time. So will Idris return to daytime interviews? No one knows. Will Kelly address it more directly? Maybe. But what's clear now is that this moment broke something in the best way. It disrupted the script, reminded us that vulnerability isn't owed, that boundaries are not drama, they're necessary. And as audiences, we're left with a choice. Do we demand the breakdown, or do we start respecting the quiet exit? Because when someone like Idris Elba walks away gracefully, intentionally, and without spectacle, maybe the real question isn't why he left, but why we expected him to stay.